Can you guys hear us okay? Drop it in the comments below.
You're gonna get me a second to get to the comments. I made it that far. Apparently I also can't spell YouTube this morning. It's fine. It's all fine.
Oh, I saw a comment, but then it went away.
Hello.
4 thumbs up already? You guys like us that much? You guys are so great.
I'm sure this volume's gonna be on. No? Wow. Oh, what did I do? Hold on. Lord help me. You know, it's like I just can't function. Good morning. Looking forward to this morning's topic. Excellent topic to dive into. Thank you so much. Good morning, friends. Good morning, friends. I love that. Update from a live chat 2 Mondays ago. My eBay business was dead with 1 sale for the whole month. I called eBay. They had me refresh my store, which I had done before it didn't work. Okay. Well, hopefully your update, hopefully that means it's coming soon.
What did they tell you to do to refresh your store? I'm just curious. I've heard people say different things.
Morning from Callie, looking for a background removal app. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. We'll go into all those deets. But first, let's get everybody on and say good morning. Let's give everybody a chance to kind of get on, and then we'll dive into topics. So, Missy, your topic or your question will be the first question we start on in just a second. So,
we're going to talk about setting a sales goal and kind of like working through the math and like equations, I guess, like my thought process of setting a goal and achieving it. And I thought that this would be a perfect topic for us because all the hard work that we put in is finally paying off. Do you want to tell them how many items we had to ship today?
I'm exhausted. Let's just start there. I got to work an hour early this morning because I was afraid, and we're still shipping. So y'all might hear our assistants in the back still shipping. I started at 7 o'clock. It's been 2 hours. It was like 7:15. Let's be honest, 7:15. But we shipped, or will be shipping, 120 items from this weekend. And I'm so excited. Y'all, like, I can't show you the pictures because I don't want y'all to see their names and their phone numbers, but I'm not even kidding. Maybe I can
post something on Instagram.
Maybe I can limit this enough. But I was sending, like, updates. I can't show you because it'll be crazy. Actually, I can, because this will have nothing in it other than just this office chat. But I'm just making sure.
That's good.
So, 95, 96, 97. I don't think you can see that. Hold on. 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. One more, guys. Like, I was so excited that I started sending Snoop Dogg and throwing champagne. And there's more, but then I get close to other people's names. So, I'm not going to show you those. But, oh, I can show you a couple more. Babies dancing. Like, it's time. We need to celebrate. I was so excited. Yeah. My goal was 100. Like, I don't know. That was already a record-breaking day, and I was like, we're so close, so let's just see what happens. And then, like, 101, 102, and I was like, let's just see if we can get to 115. We ended up at about 120. I have to count for sure. But I think it's somewhere, like, around 117 to 120. So, I'm excited and also exhausted because it's been 2 hours already, so.
We were at Posh Fest last week, if you guys didn't know. We're not going to talk, unless you guys have questions about it, I'm not going to talk about Posh Fest because our last live was like kind of about Posh Fest, and we're going to do a detailed video about it. If you have questions, we don't mind answering them, but we're just not going to talk about Posh Fest.
Not the whole time.
No. And that's not what today's topic is about, but I will say that we were at Posh Fest last week, if you didn't know, for a few days. And so, like, Friday was the second day of Posh Fest, and I was like, Nikki, sales have been blowing up. I was like, we're gonna have a lot to ship on Monday because we kept getting like bundles coming in, and I was like, I think we're gonna have a record-breaking Monday morning. So our record before, I don't know the exact number. I think it was either 87 or 89. It wasn't 90 yet.
I think it was just under. I thought it was 89 because I was kind of.
I think so too.
I think I was a little salty that we like were one away. I almost bought something. I legitimately told my husband last night. I was like, if we get to 99, I'm going to the store and I'm buying something. Like, I don't even care what it is. I will let them ship it and everything, but I have got to hit 100. So
yeah. So we were like, you know, it was Friday, and we were like, oh, I think we're going to have a record-breaking Monday. That'd be cool. Like, if we beat 89, if we could get, I think Nikki was like, if we could get to 90, that would be great. and then it's Monday and it's 120. And I'm just like, oh my God. I told the girls this morning, I was like, we're going to have a Monday morning meeting. I was like, but I'll just let you know that we didn't just break a record. We broke
Surpassed.
it. Yeah. We destroyed it. So it's been awesome.
It exploded.
Yeah.
And went all to H. I can't say the word. She'll yell at me. But it's in minuscule pieces right now, and I think I still have, like, what do they call that? The aftershock, like the ringing in the ears, the disoriented, like, a bomb just went off. I don't know what's happening. So
we needed it though. We were Posh Fest was awesome, but prior to Posh Fest, we had fallen behind on sourcing and like different goals and things that we wanted, and we just felt like we were spinning our wheels. So it's nice to see all of that like work, I guess, rewarded and finally starting to come into play. But I think I was just talking to my sister, if you guys remember, she was on the channel. We were actually talking about her coming back on yesterday, which was an interesting conversation about where she's at with her business. But I was like, yeah, record-breaking week. And she was like, well, that's awesome. I forgot where I was going with talking to my sister already.
About goals.
Goals. But she was like, why do you think it blew up so much? She's like, have you guys been doing something differently? And I was like, well, actually, now that you mention it, this is probably like a week later after we started listing 30 items a day. So we went from 22 to 25 briefly, and now we went to 30 a day. So we are currently listing 30 a day, sitting 30 active every single day, 7 days a week, and that has started to come into play, I think.
It is. It's been a long time coming, and I don't know about Kaylee. I'm gonna wrap myself out. I've been feeling like super burnout lately. Like we got kind of behind, and it's just we've been working later hours. I've been getting here early. Like things are a little bit crazy for us.
We were burnt out, and we both just took a vacation. If that tells you anything.
Yeah.
And we're still burnt out.
Yeah. It's been a lot. Like my kids started school, and like things have been a little bit chaotic. And then we had Houston coming, so we were trying to get ahead for it. We hired another person. We told you guys that. And, like, it just takes a lot for us to, I think, like, keep on par all the time. And I'm exhausted. Like, I was very burnt out. So it's really nice to see that, like, things are going really well because I ain't gonna lie, I was losing my motivation a little bit. Like, every day I was waking up, it was one of those, like, tough loves to myself. Like, nope, you got to keep going. Like, get up. Let's go. We got to go sourcing. Like, stop being a baby. Suck it up and go. And I had a lot of things like that. And so waking up this morning was the first time in a couple weeks that I like woke up and was really excited, like antsy to get to the office again and like ready to go shipping and like get that stuff done. Look forward to the Instagram post coming of Kaylee and I floating in these bins. We're going to try to make it happen. We're going to try to fill 2 whole bins today if they have them. If not, we're going to end up in the same bin and it's going to be bubbling over. It's going to look like a witch's pot. Just
if you guys are on Instagram with us, maybe you should create an Instagram because I've been a lot more active over there. I'll give myself a little bit of credit. I'm not by any means someone who posts every day, but if you guys saw that photo, it was iconic of Nikki in a bin, like a bathtub almost.
I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Maybe she can pull it up. It's on my Instagram too if you want to look it up. But of her with just packages, she climbed in the bin and had the packages pulled on top of her. Iconic.
Not to mention people like stared at me. Like this is a very public place and obviously like post office and people were all dropping off their packages and here I am just swimming in this then the sea of packages. So we gonna do it again today times 2.
Most people had a sales goal. We just wanted to fill a bin with Nikki in it. And then we were like, okay, next goal, we both got to get in a bin. We got to fill 2 bins. That was like our goal.
So we're taking a community trip to the post office today. We might even get the post office workers involved because we might need some help. We'll see. Yeah. But anyways, that's enough.
Follow us on Instagram. It's the same handle. For me, it's the same handle as YouTube. Nikki's, I don't know. She'll be on there. Probably. If they want to follow your Instagram. Oh yeah,
I don't know follow me. I don't know. Everybody always asks me this, and I literally have to look it up. That's how active I am.
So you'll see it.
It is Nikki Nikki. Oh, I'll put it in the chat. How about that? That's better than me
Perfect.
spelling it. I'll put it in the chat if you want to. Mine is not as fun as Kaylee's. Just letting you know, you're more going to just like get pictures of me and my kids in like grandma sweaters. So sorry.
So I want to dive into today's topic, but I thought it was really fitting about like making and achieving goals, because that was definitely something that we did. And you know, there's a lot of things that happen in between making a goal and achieving it, and I thought that we would talk about that today. But before we do that, let's catch up and chat real quick.
Okay.
Because I want to get that going and answer whatever questions we had, and then we'll dive into that topic, because I am going to ask the chat for some help. So
I'm going to just stop a second and first of all, again, say thanks to all of our moderators. I saw a couple getting on today.
Yes.
I really appreciate it. Also, shout out to all the ladies that we met this weekend at Posh Fest that were YouTube followers. We took lots of pictures. I got to meet lots of you. We had so much fun. I've been trying to tag you guys all on Instagram, but, you know, some of you have had a hard time finding. So let me know, but shout out to you guys. So
it was a lot of fun meeting you guys.
We're going to start with Missy's question first. Looking for a background removal app. Is Photo Room the go-to? I'm trying to see if anyone uses anything that's cheaper than about $70 a year. You want to cover this?
Sure. I mean, I feel like people answered you, and there's probably more answers down below. But first of all, if you can use Photo Room, it is a really good editor. It's really good. I
love it.
It's better than the one we use when it comes to like lighter colored items. It seems to know the outline a little bit more. So it's really nice. It does cost money. I don't know how much it is per month, or how many you get free with the watermark. You'd have to look into that, but I can tell you that it does work really good. If you're not already, and I think you might have been the one that said you're not on List Perfectly, but if you are on List Perfectly, depending on your plan, or maybe they all have it now, you can use Photo Room through List Perfectly. So if you have it and you're not already listing on List Perfectly, and it's just you listing like start to finish, that would be a really good option, because you can get Photo Room and you've already paid for it. If not, the only other one that I know and love is Photo Fuse, Photo Fuse, and it is my favorite. It's not as good as Photo Room on the lighter colored items. We just choose not to background remove those. Nikki's going to put it in the chat for you guys. But it's really good. And the reason we really love it is because you can use it on the desktop if you have a, I think, Pro plan. And I think it is, I want to say, I don't know. Can you maybe look it up on the App Store? How much it is per month?
I think mine was free.
No,
I don't know about the
Pro.
I don't know how much the Pro is,
but yeah, Photo Fuse is free, but if you want to use it on the desktop, you do have to pay for Pro. I want to say, I can't pull my phone out because we're recording with it, but I want to say it was only like $4.99 a month. The price might have gone up since I did it, but it's probably about that much per year. You might get a discount if you do the yearly plan. You got to click the FF.
I was gonna see. I don't think it tells
settings.
Maybe.
Is there a plan subscription?
Oh, see, I should just give her my phone. It looks like you can do basic, business, or ultimate. So for basic, it's $6. You can fuse up to 150. No, I lied. 1,500 photos a month. And then business is up to, or unlimited photos for up to 3,000 by 3,000. And then $15 is the ultimate unlimited photos up to 4,500.
So it sounds like you could probably get away with the basic for $5 a month, which would be
Basic is $6,
7.
business is $10, ultimate is $15. It looks like you're
60.
subscribed to the $6 one.
Yeah.
And it more than covers what we need.
So for $60 a year, you could use Photo Fuse with their basic. But one thing that's really awesome about it is if you use it on desktop. So I'll quickly run over. I do have videos about our photo process. So if you want to look those up, you can see how to use Photo Fuse. But we take the photos with a phone, we plug it in to the laptop with USB, we drag the photos to create a copy into a folder and basically make a copy on the desktop. And then we open up PhotoFuse website, and then we bulk upload all the photos that we want to background remove, which for us is just the first photo. We only background remove the first photo of every item. And so we multi-select those, we upload them all, and then there's a thing you can check while you're uploading that says fuse while uploading, and it'll basically do what the photo room does, where it'll pull each one up and automatically cover the area, and you just confirm it, and it'll take you through all of those, and then at the end they'll all be background removed, and then you can batch download them.
It's so easy.
It's great, guys.
If you're only doing
so little time,
if you're only doing like 5 to 10 photos a day, honestly, you could even use the free one and just upload them via phone. That's what we did for a really long time with the app for free. But once we started doing like, we most times are doing like 55 a day. So at that point, like it would just take entirely too long. But on the days where like I need to do it from the car or whatever, I will always just do, I'll just upload them on my phone and do like 5 or 10 at a time. And it's so easy to do like that as well.
All right, guys, we're going to blast through these questions and comments, and then we are going to create a scenario, I guess you would say, on how to make a goal and how long we think it'll take to achieve it. But I'm going to need you guys' help in the chat, so I'll have some questions.
I have no clue what the heck's going on. She literally, like, as you're sitting down, she's like, oh, yeah, topic for today is da-da-da-da. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm just here winging it. So
making a sales goal and
don't judge me if I'm lost. A lot of people are just saying good morning. So good morning, good morning, good morning. We've missed you guys. Seems like it's been so long, but it really hasn't.
We did not do one last Monday, but we did. I don't know if you guys saw, but we did like a pop-up one late at night while we were at Posh Fest. I think, was it Thursday? I think it was Thursday.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And honestly, like 100 people got on and we didn't even schedule it. And I was really surprised because it was kind of late. It was nice though.
Good morning, everybody from Arkansas, Wyoming, Northeast Ohio. Hello, Bobby from Ohio. Fellow Ohioans here. North Carolina. We have a lot of people talking about which photo rooms they use. Fourth quarter is officially here. You are right. List all your items for great sales, especially if you have new items with tags. That is true. 3 weeks ago, I changed our return policy in my eBay store from no returns to 30-day buyer pays for shipping. Ever since I did that, my sales tanked. I list daily. Why? What do you think? I'm surprised to hear that, honestly.
So, I mean, this kind of ties into our topic, but to make a long story short, anytime you make a significant change on eBay, it's very temperamental. Very temperamental. So anytime you make a significant change to your eBay store, even if it's for the better, it kind of shakes things up in the algorithm because it's like, okay, yes, this is already a listing that's created, but you changed everything. So it almost, in a way, refreshes that listing, and it has to take time to go back into the algorithm and build rapport, I guess is what I would say. But anytime you shake things up completely, you will definitely see your sales probably drop. But then, you know, if you're here and your sales tank, then after a couple of weeks, they're going to go way up. So it all evens out. It's definitely a roller coaster, but anytime you make a significant change like that, just know that it's normal for that to happen and it will come back.
Queen Boss Lady makes a good point. I jumped from 10 listings a day to 20 for fourth quarter last month. I changed my inventory system just to be ready for this quarter. I think that that's really important for you guys to take note of. If you know you have a busy season, most of us, it's typically quarter 4. I would definitely make sure before those happen that all of your processes are right. Talking about processes, we are doing an inventory this week, even though we are exhausted because we feel like it's important to know what we have. I actually had to cancel 3 orders this weekend because they were still listed on Poshmark and shouldn't have been. And obviously we need to get all of that figured out before going into quarter 4 and creating some like massive issues. So I just want to give a shout out because that's a good point, Queen Boss Lady, that you definitely want to be prepared. If there's anything you need to get done, you want to make sure that you get it done, because last thing you need is to have a really hectic or chaotic quarter 4.
Just a reminder, because I was reminded in one of my Facebook groups, listen, don't go crazy. This isn't like the pandemic where you get too much toilet paper. Be smart about it. But typically in Q4, the post office runs out of certain supplies because people go crazy ordering it and they can't make enough of it. So Q4, I think it's here. I think the sales have bumped up, but you still have a little bit of time to, I guess, pre-order and get in stock the free USPS shipping supplies that you use so that you'll actually receive them, because you don't want to find yourself, the middle of November and Christmas is coming up and your sales have doubled, but you don't have packages to ship them out and end up having to buy them on your own. And a lot of people are going to fall into that category. And so a ton of people are going to place orders at one time. It's going to get backlogged and you get free shipping supplies for a while. Take time now and order them. Do not go overboard. I made that mistake. I mean, we still have boxes that I used to order that have been for a while that we've had a really real, get small quantities. But if you know that you use like 50 padded mailers in a month, think, okay, I got to get through December. It just became October, December. I use 50. I need 150 paddeds to get me through Q4. Okay, that's how to look at it. Don't go crazy. But them when the busy season starts.
True that. Next question. So you're talking about goals. I started 3 months ago and did 820 in the first month, 1140 in the second month, and I wanted to hit 2,000 for my third month. I finished off at 1927. I'd have been buying that $73 difference. I swear, like I just can't, like, I can't not something I don't freaking need for funsies. But that's awesome. Really good. Yeah, that's really incredible. And I like to plan for goals today. But realistic goals, I think this is going to be important too, because Kaylee and I goal different. What she's going with, yes, but I almost read my own comment because that's where ignore me. Do you think giftable in our titles would help buyers with their search for presents, or maybe should it be in styles, descriptions, or not at all? What do you think? I have my thoughts. What are your thoughts?
I personally would not use it in any part of my listing, only because people just don't really search that. I mean, I guess in a way, if they were searching on like Google shopping, maybe if they search like gifts for men or something, but like what's the likelihood that yours is going to pop up over like a watch website or Amazon or something? So for me, no, I think that's going to bog you down in search because it's not going to be something that people search for. But what people will search for are things like new tag items. So making sure that you select new with tags in Poshmark and that you've got all of your great keywords, because somebody who knows what gift they want to give somebody, maybe they're like, okay, I want to get a Tory Burch purse for my daughter, and they look at Tory Burch. Well, they're going to see if you've got the right keywords and everything, the Poshmark listing, and then they're going to go, well, I'd rather buy the Poshmark pre-owned one that's in really excellent condition than the brand new one on the Tory Burch website. And that's how you're going to get buyers. Is that where you were going?
Oh yeah, I definitely think, like, I've never searched giftable in my life, or like even gift. I definitely would include things like, we've had like Halloween sweaters and stuff, and I would include like Halloween and stuff like that because it's the style or like the theme. But I definitely don't think I would put giftable, just because I think there's so many other words that you could put in those characters that people would be more likely to search. So
good question.
That was good though. Sorry if this is off topic, but can you please tell me how you find the eBay branded shipping supplies? I can't find them anywhere. You up, homegirl?
Yes, I think we showed it before. I can't remember which live though. So you go to your eBay seller hub, there's a bunch of tabs up top. One of those tabs is store. So you hover store, and then there's an option for subscriber discounts. If you click subscriber discounts, if you are eligible for that coupon, it should pop up right there and you can click into it and use it.
Alicia says, are there certain brands that you go against the comps for? I found a Burberry Brit shirt and I couldn't find any comps for the print, so I listed it for $75. It sold the same day. If I had gone with comps, I would have left it behind but I knew that Burberry was a good brand. What brands do you pick up regardless of comps? I feel like it's very impossible to just sit here and list off brands because I think it's very dependent on each piece, first of all. Second of all, I think it depends on when you look at things.
Yeah, I would say yes, we go against the comps very often, especially over like the last, I would say like
couple weeks.
Well, I would say even like the last 3 months, I've noticed that even though, we preach it all the time, look for factors, not for brands, I find us taking a lot more chances on things that are, you don't know the brand, but have really good factors. And we've been taking a lot of chances and they've been working out. So, like, it's definitely not always about the brand, although Burberry, if I found Burberry, I'd probably just get it. But no, we go against the comps a lot with things. And I think a misconception people have about our business model, because I've been seeing these comments come up pretty often, is that they think that when we search comps, we are finding the exact item every time.
No.
That is not true. Like, if I have a J. Crew striped long sleeve shirt, I'm probably not going to, like, comp down so much that I find that exact style. But I'm going to look at all of the J. Crew long sleeve striped shirts in every style and get a general idea of what I'm going to sell something for and whether I should pick it up or not. But I've noticed that's like a common misconception with a lot of our viewers, is they think that we very often find the exact item. That's only true for stuff that we look up the style number for that we feel is necessary, like Lululemon or Lily Pulitzer or some Athleta pieces, things like that.
I don't know. I would say it's very gutsy as far as like what I pick up. There's things that I pick up and I just have a really good feeling about. There's things that I don't pick up because I just don't have a good feeling about it. I ran across some Rowan pants and Rowan shirts the other day. I'd never heard of them. I'd never seen them anywhere. I tried to comp them on eBay at the time. There was literally nothing available. And I was like, I just have a feeling they feel like good quality. The tag looks nice. If I look at retail, they're going for like $200 to $300. These have to be good. And I picked them up anyways. And we've sold quite a few of them already. I just sold a pair of the pants like last week or 2 weeks ago for like $120, I think.
Yeah.
And they sold pretty quick.
That's a lot.
There are some times where I just really don't know, but I feel like things look pretty good. I always go to take those to Kaylee, and sometimes Kaylee will ask me, hey, I don't have to know a lot on these. Like, have you heard of this brand or whatever? And sometimes we just kind of use each other to say, like, I guess is like a reality check where she's like, oh, no, leave it. It's fine. Or I'll do the same thing. I don't know about that. But the other thing they can take into consideration is price. So if it's something that you find that retails for like $500, you can't find a lot of comps on, but they're only asking $2 for it, it's probably worth it to risk it for $2, right? Now, if you're in a store and they're asking $50 or $60 for it, I probably wouldn't risk it no matter how great it is, just because you could really lose your money on that. So price is another huge kind of thing to think about when you look at that as well. So
something I ask myself pretty often when I'm at a thrift store and I'm like, okay, this is going against the comps and I don't know much about this item, but I've got a good feeling about it. I stop and ask myself, okay, does this have one factor that's like super sellable, or does this have multiple factors? Because if the brand falls through, what else is going to pull this sale through? And so for me, I ask myself that,
styles, prints.
Are there some really good factors that are still going to pull the sale through? If the answer is no, then I put it back. So
this is a good question, and I don't have an answer for it. Okay. So I'm going to let you take this, and I'm actually really curious. So
I saw Little Miss Nat in the chat. I just wanted to say hi.
I loved you. Oh my gosh. I literally came home and the first thing I told my husband is, hey, I met Little Miss Nat in person. I've interacted with her so much on YouTube, and she's just like the sweetest soul I've ever met in my life.
It was
Kaylee and I, we had such a good time meeting you. So I'm really excited you're here. Sorry. I got very, very pumped at that. Piece of Scrap says, would it have been better to update little by little with return changes? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it would have, as far as when I say I don't know, I'm thinking like business trend. Would it be more beneficial to have changed all the new ones and maybe gone like page by page and like casually changed them, as far as like keeping sales consistent, or would it be better to just rip the Band-Aid off?
I guess it depends on like what is your goal with changing the returns. If your goal is to not disrupt your sales and gradually move things over time, then yeah, maybe. For me, I'm the kind of person I would rather just rip the Band-Aid off. I would like to get it over with, and I'd like to have all of my items to go through the slump so that they can all go through the trajectory afterwards. So for me, I like to do it all at once. And another reason I'll tell you that you should probably do it all at once is because if you are trying to determine whether it's right for your business or not, and you're not really sure that's what you want to do, because, eBay can tell us free returns works great and it's going to increase your sales. It may not work for you. There's always a small percentage of people that it just does not work for your business, depending on whatever. Oh my God, I'm seeing some of these comments. For whatever, business type you have or what items you're selling, it may just not work great for you. So if you are somebody that you're like, I absolutely know that I want to do free returns and it's going to work for me, then you could do either way, gradually or all at once. Again, I'm like a rip the Band-Aid off person. I think it depends on your personality. But if you're someone who you're like, I need to test this out and I need to know if it's going to work for me or not, then I would suggest doing it all at once, because you're going to have a bigger sample size of data, and then give it a couple months. Don't just do it and then wait a week and then go, this isn't working. It hasn't changed my sales at all. Give eBay some time to show you if it works or not. And that's why I would personally recommend doing them all at once, is so that you can determine if it's right for you and you have a larger data size to compare to your sales for.
I like it.
I promise we're going to get to goal. We've got
Mark's new attack policy is very specific. Make sure you require. I had it returned because it did not have all the original tags intact. Tore off clearance stickers. I've never heard that or had any complaints from it, so it's kind of interesting to hear that.
Apparently, I need to read that because I haven't heard about that either.
We do that all the time. This may be a tough question to answer, but should I expect to pay hundreds or thousands in taxes? Depends on how much money you make, and depends on how great you are at making your business not look successful. She joked. I mean, in all actuality, though, like, you got to pay attention to mileage, keep track of all your expenses, what are you using, shipping supplies, how much you're paying in cost of goods, like, all that adds up.
You need to know how much your sales are, but you also need to know the fees are being taken out and what all your expenses are. And at the end of the day, you need to know, after all is said and done, after you have your sales less your expenses, how much is that? And then you can kind of determine whether you're going to pay hundreds and thousands. I cannot answer that for you guys. I am really strict about not talking about taxes online, just in a more detailed sense. I'll talk generally, but I would go talk to a CPA. A lot of them do free consultations too. So like, go talk with somebody, figure out if it's somebody you like. It is totally worth it to, if you don't know how taxes work, to pay that and figure that out. But I would say, in general, I would expect to pay, depending on what your sales are, a decent amount of money. Yeah.
Womp womp. That's the sad part of business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lucia wants to know, is the coupon for supplies it's not one time. I don't think it's every month either. It's like what,
Quarterly.
every quarter? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You get it every quarter, so every 3 months you'll get a new one.
Good morning, Joe. I'm glad you're awake. You made it. Rise and shine, Little Miss Nat says. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Too early. Get back in bed, she says. I lost status for unavoidable reasons I've already mentioned. Have been downgraded from top seller. I'm getting 0 views. Only thing I know to mitigate is list more and write it out. That's it. List more and write it out. Unfortunately, I know that that's not a great answer, but unfortunately, we've been through that. Y'all, I'm going to be honest. I think that half the things I've heard from all these people we met at Poshmark was that they liked that we were realistic and genuine. This last month has been a bad word. I'm not going to use it because I'll get in trouble.
Very hard.
But we've been working a lot. I've come in early a lot. She's worked weekends. Like, stuff's been crazy for us. And it all happened because we made one mistake. And I'll tell you what that mistake was. We started a new hire. We didn't take into account the first week that she started that she'd be listing items. I don't know how something so simple just like floated over our brain. We thought about it the next week, but we weren't thinking about it during training. And that put us like 60 to 80 items behind. And then we've constantly been playing playing catch up since then. And I just being for all realism here and talking about, you know, how to mitigate stuff like that. The only thing you can really do is like buckle into it and just, it happened. There's nothing you can really do to fix it other than, you know, put some extra effort in or work a little bit longer. In your case, trying about listing more and trying to write it out. For us, it was sourcing more and trying to write it out, going to the bins more. That's a long story too. Bins were not working for us in our area either. Typically the bins for us in the transition time frame between seasons is just atrocious. And sometimes when things happen, there's nothing you can do to really control those items or those moments. The only thing you can really do is buckle into it and just pray. I don't know. That's what I do.
You got to be resilient and trust the process. Yes. And for us, I mean, really everything else was going good. We just could not get back to sourcing enough items. We just didn't have the time.
We couldn't get ahead. Yeah. We thought when we came in today, we were going to have 6 items. And somehow in the chaos of us like panicking of not having enough, we ended up with 175. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know.
Yeah, like I swear to God that like a little fairy just came in here and floated and dropped it when we weren't here, or that like these girls when we were gone like shopped every store while we were gone. They didn't. I can tell you, but I don't know. Things just happened, and I think we panicked so much. We like got stressed about it. We worried about it that we ended up further ahead than we thought. But moral of the story is, Joe, sometimes there's not a whole lot you can do other than just buckle into it. Take what is, deal with what you've got, and make the best of it. We spent a couple of days of not sourcing. We had some other personal things going on at the office as well that kind of saved us. Unfortunately, they were not great events, but they saved us in a way as well that kind of helped us dig out of it. And I hope, I'll cross my fingers and think about you that something magical happens in your direction as well and things work out.
I think that's a great segue into our topic. We'll use little Miss Nat's heart eye emojis there as like a placeholder for going back into chat. But 2 things. Yes, shout out Tammy. I don't know if Tammy's watching. She said she doesn't comment much. But
she messaged me on Instagram and said she was going to go back and comment.
Okay.
So,
hi, Tammy.
Tammy, if you're here.
Yes.
We love you.
We met a lot of people, guys, and I'm sorry if I'm leaving anybody's names out. I'm just, as I see people's names, you know, going through the chat, shouting them out. But we met a ton of great people, a ton of subscribers. So I don't want anyone to think we're leaving anybody out. We had it was a pleasure meeting all of you. I'm just shouting at the names that I see on the screen. And then secondly, Lisa, I did see your comment. I am glad that you are safe. I can't believe that you're on this live right now. So thank you. But I'm glad that I'm glad to hear from you. I'm glad you're safe. She said she's in Florida.
Praying for all people in Florida and hoping that if you dealt with destruction, that it's not something that's like completely upended your life. And if it is, we're praying even more that life kind of goes back to normal for you soon and business goes back to normal for you soon. So we ran into a lot of people at Posh Fest that came to Posh Fest like fleeing from Florida. A lot of people were from Florida, so we've been thinking a lot about them and definitely praying that things worked out. I know I think the worst of the storm in that end is over with, and we're just hoping that things kind of go back to normal for you guys as soon as what they can. So
okay, let's dive into the topic. I'm gonna need you guys' help in chat. We're gonna use that comment as a placeholder, and we'll go back. If you have any reselling questions, you can put them in the comments and we will blast through them after this topic. But I'm going to need you guys' help in the chat on working through this. So I want to be realistic for you guys. So, you know, we have sales goals in mind, but I also have 3 people helping me. So my sales goals are going to be much different than your sales goals. So I want you guys to tell me, what is a realistic dollar amount net that you would like to make per, we'll say per month. Per month, if you guys could shout out in the chat.
I almost just typed $1.
$1
just for funnies, but I didn't.
Give me a realistic for like an, you know, a seller that most of you I know are doing it by yourself. What is a realistic net, meaning after all of your fees are said and done or whatever, a net monthly goal? Okay, I see 5,000, 3,000. Okay, anybody else got one? 2,000. I figured it was going to be like in that range. Figured a few thousand. Anybody else? 3,200. That's very specific.
3,000, 6,000, 35,000, not 35,000, 3,500. Apparently, I can't read today. 1,000, 3,000, 4,000.
5K.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to kind of go in the middle. I saw that's a good goal.
8,500. That's very
that's
lucky finds. Goal. You must find lots of lucky
2,000. Okay, I'm gonna kind of go in the middle, guys. So would we say 4,000 be a good median?
Probably good median. Okay.
So we'll say 4,000.
Average.
Average
of your guys' goals is about 4,000.
I guess I did this backwards. I should have asked for gross sales. So $4,000 net. That's what you want, okay? Ish. Now I need to know ish. Yeah. We're just, you know, making an example, but I'm going to work through kind of how my mind works with the process. So you want 4,000 net. That means you want to take home $4,000. Now, I'm just going to say we are not talking taxes. I'm not like, no. I'm going to say that you get 4,000 and then you got to take your taxes out of that 4,000, but we're just going to say 4,000 pre-tax net. Now I need to know, what is your average sell price for the item? We're going to consider shipping a wash. We're going to assume that the buyer pays for shipping and it's a wash. Okay, so what is your average sale price for your item? What do you guys do? Ours is like, ours is like
$30 average.
It's like 30 to 35 right now. We were a little
30.
bit higher than that before, but we have, we spent a lot of time at the bins, so.
35 to 40, 18, 28, 22, 30. Looks like 30-ish is about the middle range of what I'm seeing. 25 to 30, 45, 35, 22.
$35 average sale price. Again, guys, that we're considering shipping a wash. Shipping is different for everybody, but we're going to assume that the buyer pays for shipping. We're not going to include shipping. I would say $30. I'm seeing a lot of 30s. I would say that $30 for most people trying to follow our business model, which makes sense because ours is about 30. Everybody's doing about a $30 for an average seller. That's about what you can find comfortably.
I'm assuming you're talking about full-time resellers for the most part.
Anything.
Well, I'm just saying because the people are asking their monthly goals. Are you assuming that most of their monthly goals we're looking at somebody working full-time?
For the sake of this,
for the 4,000.
It doesn't matter. For the sake of this, we're just strictly talking about numbers.
It could be your goal. I guess we'll walk you through where we're going with this. I don't know where we're going with this yet, but we'll work you through it. So each of you take a second, write down your own goal. So if you're part-time and your goal is $100, great. If you're full-time and your goal is $8,500, great. Whatever your goal is, write it down for net for the month, whether you're full-time or part-time. And then also write down what your average sales price is.
Yes. So right now, in our example, we've got $4,000 net pre-tax, $30 average sale price for an item. Now I need to know what your average cost of goods. Give me an average. Ours is falling
about 5.
Yeah, it used to be 4. I think we're at about 5 now. It depends if we go to the bins, where we go. But let's say for us it's $5, but I want to know for you guys what's your average sale price. 5 to 7, 3 to 4,
$4.55, $1.59. We coming to you, Bobby.
Girl.
5.
I think, she's told me before she shops mostly at the bins, so that makes sense. 2 to 4, 5, 375. Pretty good, honestly. Average cost of goods, guys. Okay. So
Let's
should
just
we
say 5 for easy math.
Okay.
I like easy math.
Okay, we'll say 5. So $5 cost of goods. Okay. So this is how I kind of work it out in my mind. I try to work backwards a little bit to make the math easier. So you've got a $30 average sale price. So each item that is going to sell, we haven't talked about how many are going to sell, but each item that's going to sell is going to be an average sale price of $30. Can you get the calculator out for me? We're gonna assume, we're just gonna like, one thing I like to do when I'm making sales goals is I overestimate. I never want to underestimate. I would rather charge myself more money in an example so that when it all works out, you know,
make extra.
Yeah, you make extra.
It's like a gift.
Yeah. So, you know, eBay fees are going to be a lot cheaper than this, but let's take the platform with the highest amount of fees, which for me is Poshmark. It's a flat 20%. So 20% off of 30 leaves us with how much, Nikki?
$24.
Okay, then we got to account for our cost of goods, which was $5, which is $19.
So take your, we're doing 20%, just assuming it's Poshmark, okay? So 20%, so you take 20% off of your ASP, and then you're going to subtract your cost of goods. Ours is 19, just generically, not legitimately ours, but with our example. Okay.
Okay. So we said before, so that leaves us with our net profit per item that sells. So generally, when you sell an item, you're left, if you did your averages correctly, you're left with a $19 net profit per item. Okay. So you said that you wanted your net end goal, what you wanted to be left with. We're not, by the way, we're not including supplies or anything like that. Okay.
We're just calling it a wash.
Everybody's is different, so we're gonna call that a wash. Okay. $4,000 for a net goal divided by $19 net profit per item should tell us how many items we need to sell per month in order to meet our net profit. Can you do that math for me?
I wasn't listening, I'm sorry.
4,000 divided by 19.
Yes, I can do that. I was reading the chat, sorry. So that is just under 211. So we'll say 210.5.
We'll say 210 for easy math. 210 items need to sell to reach your net. Does that make sense? So let me work back through it again. We took our ASP, our average sale price, which was $30. We subtracted our 20% fees. And then we subtracted our cost of goods, which left us with $19. We said we wanted our monthly net, after fees and everything, goal to be $4,000. So we divided 4,000 by our net profit per item, which was $19, which got us about 210 to 211 items. Okay.
So that tells you if you want to make your goal of $4,000, money, for the month, that you would need to sell 210 items at your regular average sale price to get there. Now, you obviously have to keep in mind if you have things that are cheaper that you sell on sale or whatever, but for the most part, they should work out, because even if you're selling some sale items, you should also have some like really like holy grail items that are in there, and those should help make that difference for you too.
So here's where everybody messes up.
What?
They stop here and they go, okay, I need to sell 210 items to meet this goal. That means I need to list 210 items.
No.
So
you're not going to sell every single item you're going to list.
So
I wish, but no.
I would ask, and you'd have to do this math yourself about what your average sell-through rate is. And then you would have to figure out, okay, if my average sell-through rate is X amount per month, that means that I need to list, let's say it's 50%. You'd have to list double that, if that makes sense. So for us, the way I look at it is our business model is we focus on a 100% sell-through rate within 90 days. That means if I pick something up, guaranteed to sell within 3 months. That's how we look at it in general.
Yeah. So if you think about 3 months, That's like a 1 out of 3 chance. And that's if we guaranteed sell it. 1 out of 3 chance it's going to be this month versus next month. So to guarantee, you know, we were going to sell it, we'd have to pick up 3 times more than what we would actually. So.
Okay, so 210 times 3.
Sorry.
You're good.
I put my phone down.
I'm trying to be realistic because people miss this part. They don't.
630. I could have done that in my head. I don't know what I was doing.
630 items need listed if we are accounting for a
the
sell-through
30%,
rate.
or not 30%, the 3-month sell-through rate window.
Does that make sense, guys? And to me, that is a much more realistic goal.
Attainable goal, yeah.
Yes. Now, some of you are going to look at that and go, oh my God, there's no way I can list 630 items. So what you can do is you can go, okay, where can I adjust this equation? If I can't source 630 items, maybe you need to increase your average sale price and pick up higher quality items. Or maybe you need to lower your cost of goods. And when you start adjusting those in that equation, you can get that number down a little bit. But let's say that you can source 630 items a month. How many is that per week? So we're going to take 630 divided by 4.
157.
157-ish items. So in order to get to your net, realistically, with, you know, if you're following, I assume if you're following our channel, you're kind of trying to stick to our business model with a 100% sell-through rate within 90 days. If not, try to adjust it for yours. But if you're following ours, in order to reach a 4,000 net pre-tax sales goal every month, you would need to list 157 items per week at an average sale price of $30 with a cost of goods of $5 or less.
Live Style Rewind. We did 210 items. So what we did is we figured out 4,000 was the amount we wanted to make per month. We divided that by what our net profit per item was to get 210 items. And we multiplied that by 3 because our sell-through rate is the goal of selling them within 90 days, which is 3 months. So does that make sense?
So if we list something, essentially we expect to sell 30% of what we list in
Each month.
So
So that's where we got the 3. If you follow the same 90-day sell-through rate process as what we do, then that would be the same for you. If yours is different and you have like a 50% sell-through rate or whatever, it looks like you would need to adjust that based on that. But if you follow comps the way we do, that means that the items, if they have 100% sell-through rate, should sell within those 90 days. So hopefully that makes sense.
And after this video is done, I'm going to post it. So if you want to go back and rewatch and work through this like equation and problem
With your own stuff.
Yeah, with your own numbers, that'll work great for you. And so that's kind of how when we make a sales goal, or when I make a sales goal and I say, okay, I'd like to get to this, that's kind of how I work that back in my mind. I use my averages of everything. Now you need to be realistic. If you are like, I think my average cost or my average sale price is 30, you actually need to go dig into, you know, some data and divide and make sure that you're actually being realistic. Otherwise, this is not going to work for you. So
you also need to keep in mind, if you sell on multiple platforms, what the percentages are. So we did this based on Poshmark, just assuming, but most of our sales come from eBay. So it would be something that you might want to look at as well. If you only sell on eBay, your percentage is going to be different than what we just did. So you want to keep that percentage in mind as well, of what percentage of your items do you pay in fees. Poshmark was easy. It's 20%. It's flat rate, whatever. But if you're selling on different platforms, that can be a different change for you guys as well. So just something else to think of.
I like to overestimate, so I choose Poshmark, which, you know, we probably don't need that much. You probably won't need to get that many items, but it's a good goal to have. You would rather overachieve, right, and then meet your goal than underachieve by not being realistic with yourself. So gives you a little bit of wiggle room, but that's kind of how we work through a goal. Now, if this were my goal and I said, okay, I'm going to start listing 157 items per week.
You need my calculator?
No, you're good. Okay. And I started doing that like right now. How long do you think it would take Nikki to achieve my net results?
3 months.
At least 3 months. Yes.
Yep, because ultimately, one, you need to give eBay or Posh or whatever time to kind of make an adjustment for what you're doing. But two, for you to really have an idea of what that is going to cycle and look like, you need to give it that time to kind of run its course. I feel like the first month to 2 months, you might not see a whole lot of adjustment, but by the middle to end of month 3, you should really start seeing those things pick up. That does not mean in 3 months you're going to see that first $4,000 month. That just means you're going to start seeing that trending up. You're going to start seeing that you're selling a third of what you should be. So if we're saying, that you need to list 157 items a week, and okay, I need to sell 19 items. I don't know. We figured that out. It was 210 items. Maybe you divide that by your month and figure out what that looks like. I don't know, you have set a goal for yourself of X amount per each week. You might start seeing you're making that goal. For us, you'll hear us talk all the time. Our goal originally was to get to 20 items each day, to sell 20 items each day, because that's what we were listing. And that's kind of when we know what we've done has really been cyclical for us. When we start listing 30 items a day, my goal is to see eventually 30 items sell every single day religiously.
Yeah.
If we list 40 a day, I want to see it match that, because that means, again, we're at that point of growth again, which is good. So
we follow the reseller nirvana. If you guys have heard that term, we try to achieve that. So guys, just, this is where most people make goals that aren't realistic and fail, as they do not account for a sell-through rate. And, we're saying, okay, most of our items that we list are going to sell in 3 months. So if we list an item, we know that life cycle of that item is probably going to take about 3 months to sell. Therefore, if we start making changes now, probably 3 months later, we're going to start seeing results. If you're not following that sell-through rate, your items might take 6 months on average to sell. Nothing wrong with that. It's a different sell-through model, but you have to keep that in mind when you're making goals, so that okay, if my items on average take 6 months to sell and I start making changes now, I'm probably not going to see results come in for how long?
6 months.
6 months. Yeah. So keep that in mind, all the changes you make. When you start adding listings, it does take time, but you got to look at it from a data perspective. You can't just go, well, I feel like I'm putting in work, so I feel like I should be seeing sales. I think if you walk into it knowing how long it's going to take, you can be more at ease, and you can just go with the ebbs and flows and feel more at peace, because you understand the data and you understand when things should be happening for you.
It's also really hard, or really easy to miss it as well. So we talked about, I think you guys might have heard us mention, we talked about a couple of months ago running across an Instagram post from a year ago and it being 35 items. And we were like, big shipping day, we're dying today, we hope we make it. And then, to see that now, we laughed about it. And I was like,
we
man,
shipped out 120 items
I was like, man, we thought we were dying. And I remember literally the way I felt that day and pulling those items, and I had my wagon, and my wagon was full, and I was really stressed, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to mess all these packages up. Not saying that that's still not great, because it absolutely is huge. Every milestone you make is huge. But what my point of this is, if you had asked me then if I thought we'd be where we were now, I would have laughed at you. Kaylee at one point said, we're going to list 100 items a week. And I was like, this is never going to happen. And I remember panicking about it and being like, I don't get it. I don't know how this is going to work. We're never going to be able to source that much. Well, we do sometimes almost that in one day anymore.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you can almost miss the growth if you don't have milestones. If you're not on Instagram, or obviously you're on YouTube now, but if you're not on Instagram, or you don't do, your own YouTube videos or whatever that is, I recommend take pictures. If you have a day where you're like, man, this is going to be a day that I'm never gonna break. This is it. This is my top goal. Take a picture of it and look back on it in a year and say, okay, look, on, I don't know, October 1st, this is where I was last year. Where am I today? And I think you'll see how much you grow. Sometimes it doesn't seem as much as what it is. But I think if you take pictures every, I don't know, maybe once a month, your best day of the month, take a picture of it. Or write down what your sales were. And then take time every month to celebrate your gain from the year before. Just keep yourself motivated.
That's a good
Loosey
point.
goosey.
Had I not had that Instagram post, I wouldn't have even thought like
No.
last year that we were shipping 30 packages. Like that seems so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, from Sydney, Australia. That's so cool.
Dude, I love that koala. I just want to touch it. I hear they're really mean, but I just want to snuggle with it.
Okay, guys, if you have,
Good day, mate.
Good day, mate. I'm gonna wrap up this like topic, but if you guys have any questions about this topic or any reselling questions, put them in the comments below. We're at an hour, so we'll probably be getting off soon because we've got some other calls and things that we're doing today. That we just got back from Posh Fest, so we need to have a meeting with our girls. But put those in the comments down below, and we'll start blasting through questions. But the last thing I wanted to say is, again, go back and rewatch this if you want to like have that equation in your mind and work through it on your own. But if you are looking at these goals, and Nikki kind of like led me into this, but if you're looking at these goals after you do this equation and you're just like, this seems so unattainable, like there is no way I'm gonna get 157 items because I'm only getting 60 items right now. It changes. Tweak your goals, tweak your cost of goods, tweak your average sale price, and work on ways to make it work. Find what you can do in your business to meet that goal, to make it work. And I'll also just say, like, if you don't have enough time to source the amount of items for your goal, try to think of ways you can cut time down on other things. Really get your processes in line. Cut down time on your shipping, or cut down time on your inventory process, or cut down time on things. I think we all do a lot of unnecessary things. I know we've cut our process in half. Every year, I think Nikki gets overwhelmed because I pull out a whiteboard and I say, we're going to write down every single step that we do. Every year we do this, sometimes twice a year.
All the time.
And we go, let's write down every single step that we take. And the whole board's filled. And I remember I did it for the first time and Nikki saw it and she's like, what is all this? And then we go, okay, what can we erase off this board? What are we doing that is actually not necessary because
that we can skip or reorder?
Yeah, or reorder to make it more efficient. Because if you cannot source this amount of items because you don't have time, there's probably somewhere in your process that you can cut out so that you can make time for it and you can achieve your goals. And to be honest, when you start cutting things out, it makes your life so much easier too.
We've streamlined a lot of processes, and I can't imagine going back and doing things the way that we used to do them. At that time, I couldn't see us changing them, but definitely now it's definitely been worthwhile. So
look at ways to tweak, see that you can make these goals if they seem unattainable, because I promise they are attainable. All right,
here we go. Marilyn wants to know about free returns with international. We do not do free returns with international because there's so many like custom fees and things like that. We just don't. That's my advice.
When you participate in the global shipping program, I do believe that it defaults to not accepting them.
Yes.
Just so you know.
For photographing at the moment, awesome. Looking forward to hearing about the Posh Fest deets. We will definitely give you Posh Fest deets. We should have a video coming in the next couple days, I would assume, as soon as Kaylee gets it
today.
Yeah. Good morning from Florida. We talked about you. Good job. I'm glad you're all right. And somehow still on with us with no power. Let's see. I think I missed how your sales were over the weekend. Mine finally went back to normal, but I also ran sales in both my stores, shipping out 14 packages. Patchwork Vintage Co. We hit 120 today. I don't know how, but we did. And I hope that in a year from now, I can watch this video and be like, 120? Really? That's what we did? But I don't want to think about it yet. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, our sales blew up over the weekend. It sounds like a lot of people's sales were good over the weekend. Congrats on your packages.
Ooh. Just starting to want to get into online selling. Thank you for posting videos like this. I feel like a naked baby in the woods. We got you. We got you, Beatrix. No worries.
Beatrix, if you're not familiar, we try to do it every Monday. We don't do it every Monday if we have something going on, but we try every Monday to do a live Q&A like this at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, new to reselling, if you want some community and be able to ask questions, we do beginner questions, we do advanced if we can answer, because we're still learning ourselves, but feel free to kind of come on every Monday. We'd be happy to see you here and help you get started.
Josefina, it was nice to meet you as well. I really enjoyed talking with you as well. It took me a second when you were talking about your nice dress, and I sat here for a second and I was like, oh yes, I remember now. It was so pretty. Let's see what else. I'm skipping through the comments on the others. Like all the $5 stuff we had going on. It does matter if you are full-time or part-time. When we said it didn't matter as far as the ratio, we just meant it doesn't matter to
the equation
as to whether you're full-time or part-time. You can do this regardless of whether you're full-time or part-time to figure out what you need to do to meet your goals. But it doesn't matter necessarily per se whether you are full-time or part-time for the equation. It does make a difference on how much whether you're full-time or part-time on how much you make, but
only you can know how much time you have. We're just here trying to work through the equation with you. So I'm sorry if that offended you, but it works part-time, full-time, whatever. This equation will work. Just plug your numbers in.
Yep. We list currently 30 items a day. Our average sale price is probably about $5 if we had to guess. We didn't look at it before we got on today, so I can't tell you exactly. But just to kind of give you an idea, I would guess about $5.
Lisa said she's literally in a laundry room charging her phone.
Aww.
I'm so glad you're on. Aww.
Me too. Let's see. We already went over that one. We were in the middle. Have we shared our sales goal? What's your ultimate goal?
Maybe you should share.
What's your goal for this week? Not this week. This year.
Oh, well, I won't share the year. I know what I wanted to break 200,000 gross, meaning before everything, gross sales this year, and I believe we are going to do that. We are pretty far into that goal, and from what I've projected, taking an average of my months, I think we're gonna hit it. But I'll just say, like, on a smaller scale, weekly basis, and I told the girls this a couple weeks ago, we were averaging like 3,000 a week, and then it jumped to 4,000, and we've consistently been doing 4,000 a week for a while now. So I was like, man, it'd be great if we could get to between 5,000 and 6,000 consistently. That's my goal, which honestly, by the end of this year, guys, we're going to be doubling the amount of listings that we're doing. That's
hopefully
right for us.
Knocking on wood. Yeah.
But so then I was like, okay, if we're doubling that, I mean, it's basic math and there's a lot involved, but essentially our sales should double if we continue on the same model. And so I was like 5,000 to 6,000. I was like, well, shoot, by this time next year, we should be doing probably 10,000 a week if we double. But
eyes twitching.
but what I told them was, I would like to see by the end of the year us be consistently every week between 5,000 and 6,000. And I haven't shared this with them yet, but last week I think we were at 5,500. It's crazy, guys. I didn't believe it myself when I pulled the numbers, but we had a really good week. Q4 is starting to hit, and sales typically for me double in Q4, and so at least 5,000 to 6,000 now I'm thinking is probably not high enough goal, but that I would like to see us.
Just gonna shut her up
right here. I would like to see us consistently between 5,000 and 6,000 a week. But Nikki, a couple weeks ago, we had a meeting and we all shared our goals, including the girls in the office, what they would like to see. And Nikki kind of shared one that I hadn't really thought about, which was like a little bit more in the future end goal. And what was your sales goal?
So I don't know why it is for me, but this is, I guess, how I can say I 100% sold. I don't care whatever else happens after this. This is my end goal, whether it's, it's not gonna be this year, so don't push that. But whether it was this year, next year, 10 years, whatever it is, my ultimate goal is to sell $1 million worth of clothing in 1 year. Gross. Not net. I don't need to make $1 million. I just need to sell it. So I think for me, that will be my I don't know, my holy grail, ultimate overflowing trophy of just I don't think I'll ever be able to top that for myself. We'll see what happens. I think that's very large scale right now. But my hope is within the next 5 years we can do it. Obviously, we're going to have to expand more and hire more and things like that. But I do think that it is possible, and that's like my long-term goal. Our new hire actually asked me that during the interview process. She's like, "Where do you want to see this go?" And I was like, "Huh." And I really started thinking about it, and I was like, that for me would be like, I just can't top this moment, would be $1 million. I would also like to see eventually us get like 2 teams, like a Nikki versus Kaylee team, and see how we can do. So I don't know.
She thinks it's really far in the future, but I told her that I think it would be possible.
What'd you say, 2 years or so?
2 years. At the end of 2 years, I think we might hit it.
We've doubled.
If we continue with how it's going.
I started not saying this is me, because I'm really just here for the wine and cheese. Let's be honest.
She's humble.
But since I started about 1.5 years ago, we have a little more than doubled what we've been doing, which is good. And I think that's kind of the goal, is to keep doubling what we're doing. And it's definitely not coming from this direction. She says I'm humble. I just implement what she taught me, so don't let her fool you. This is the Kaylee Elaine show. I'm just the co-host here. I don't know what she's saying. She's shaking her head. No, I'm just gonna nod her like this. But I just honestly, like, I don't know. I'm just blessed for all you guys and super happy to be here. I just go with the flow. So
I'll tell you, just in case anybody's like, wow, that's an unrealistic goal, I'll just say, and I think when I said this to you, you were like, I don't know how we would do that. There are a couple of resellers that I follow that like are I wouldn't say they're mentors to me, because I don't talk to them, but like I look up to them. And there are a couple of resellers. One of them does $1 million a year in sales. The other does $2 million a year in sales. And I'll just say that the one that does $2 million a year in sales, he has the exact same number of people on his team that we do. It's possible.
I'm telling you right now, when I hit $1 million, I have 2 kids. I already don't sleep. We're going to hire some more people, because I just can't.
They have cut their processes like
we would have to cut quite a bit.
What we do, yeah. So
I'm all about doing it, but I'm also a perfectionist. So if I'm going to do it, I want them to be perfect, and I want to do it. I don't want to like cut a bunch of stuff and feel like my stuff looked janky. I'm not calling anybody out, because I'm waiting for Daily Refinement to come and review our store and it to be atrocious. But I'm just saying, I like have to still have perfect photos and hit $1 million. Like I can't sacrifice the details. For me, I feel like that's cheating. So
she says that now. We also were at a point where we didn't think
ask
we
me
could
in
get,
a year.
We were also at a point where we never thought, and including myself, I was like, I just can't see us getting rid of thank you cards. Like, it has our link on it. It looks so nice. Now, if you ask me to put thank you cards in my packages, I'd be like, no, I don't want to do that. So things do change. We would definitely either have to get more people or significantly cut down processes, but there's beauty to simplicity, guys. Like, the more we cut down, the more it just becomes such an easier process, not only for us, but to any new hires that we bring on. It's less we have to teach. But I don't know. That's our goals. Those are our goals. Maybe we're rambling too much.
No, we got more questions.
Okay.
How long should it take to list an item start to finish? What did we say? It was like 5 minutes. 4 to 5 minutes for us.
It really
not that it should.
Yeah, but it really depends on what your process is. I'm gonna just say, like, we have a lot of things that I would consider like unnecessary fancy steps. But to me right now, they feel necessary. In a year from now, we might think that they're completely unnecessary, but like,
I feel like it's necessary.
Yeah, we background remove, we add measurements with photos, we weigh the items. We also have this like little blurb in our description with a bunch of keywords. Like, we do a lot of extra things that you may not need to do. And even with all of those extra things, like, when you're saying listing, I assume you mean a start to finish process, like photos.
Yeah, she said start to finish.
Photos. I'm not including sourcing, but photos and listing once you've got the item in hand. How long was it? About
I think it was
8
like
minutes?
No, I think it was like 5. It takes us 3 minutes to do 3 minutes to fill out the details, and then I think it was like 2 minutes an item for photographing and stuff.
We
so
also put the draft shell in.
Yeah, I would say probably like five-ish to 6-ish minutes if I had to guess.
We've cut guys. That used to be like 12 minutes last year. Like, and we thought that was pretty fast. Like, we have cut that down significantly, and we still do a lot of extra things, and it's all attributed to bulking everything together.
Do you have a video of when you first started and how you grew? I think you need to do a new one. I know you have some about how you started, but I think it would be good to show the timeline of like.
Yeah, I've never done a video dedicated to how I started. I've just answered the question. I know it's in my notes. It's in my notes. I've got guys. I write down all your video suggestions. I promise. If you don't see them, it's not because I don't want to. It's because I have a list in my phone. Every time you guys tell me a video idea, it's in my phone. We just haven't gotten to it yet. It's hard for me to even put up the like, you know, the what solds every week, the lives. Like, it's hard for me to do just that. So to add the extra videos in, like, I just haven't gotten to a point where we can do that yet. But that was the goal with hiring a new person. Once they're fully trained and once we're back on track with sourcing, Nikki and I plan to spend some time. She's going to help me with a lot of social media stuff and be like more back on track with that for the stuff that you guys want to see.
What's the most substantial thing you learned at Posh Fest that you think that people don't know?
Well, I feel like we might have different answers, but 2 parts, and I'll be quick, but like, because we're going to dive into it in another video, but like, I always heard that like Poshmark has a really great community, which I always thought was super cheesy. Okay, like I never wanted to participate in community shares. I still don't, by the way. Community shares, like, you know, the commenting and the supporting everybody on Poshmark. I was like, I'm just here to make money. Like, I don't care about like all of these other people on Poshmark. Like, I mean, I care about like my subscribers and stuff, and I care about my customers. And like, if somebody comments or whatever, you know, I care, but I'm not going to go out of my way to do anything extra because I'm a busy person and I just can't. And so I guess my mentality with that switched a little bit, and I'm still not going to do the community sharing because I think that's a waste of time. But I just learned that there really is like Poshmark as a company. Now, there were some things they did I disagreed with while we were there. I don't know if we're going to get into that, but I'm still mad about some of it. But for the most part, like we met a lot of like the VPs and like the core people on the team. They were all so nice. They all wanted to help. And there really is such a community. They're very community oriented. And not only that, like people, the Poshers that I met at Posh Fest, so nice. Like everybody wanted to get to know everybody. It wasn't like cliquey. I was worried it'd be cliquey. It wasn't cliquey. And I just met so many great people that like wanted to help. And I guess I just learned that on Poshmark, when people say, you know, community and Poshmark's there to like make a difference and help, I actually learned that at Posh Fest. And that kind of changed my mind on how I thought about that. Secondly, I learned through Posh Fest, how to, I guess, forecast trends and get ahead of a trend and get ahead of seasonality, which I felt like we were pretty good at. But after like
deep diving?
Yeah, after deep diving through that, I feel like there's a lot that we can improve on as far as like forecasting stuff and getting way ahead and more planning, sourcing, and what items we're going to source way ahead of time. And I took that away without going into detail.
Wow, that was still detailed.
Sorry, I talk a lot, guys.
I don't know what I would say was the most substantial thing that I learned. Maybe, I don't know. I guess maybe my biggest takeaway, which I would say I was something I struggled with anyways, was following more of the aesthetics versus following brands. I don't want to say that I don't follow brands or that I don't follow aesthetics, because I do try to look for both. But typically when I'm flipping through like the stores, I mostly am just flipping through whatever I can see brand wise, or like things that look substantial. But that being said, like it definitely, like we talked a lot about like flared legs. That's one thing I don't do. I don't go through and look at the pant legs and look specifically for flared leg items. Like I just go through, and if I see something that looks kind of eclectic, like I might pick it out. But I definitely think I learned a little bit more about not just necessarily like how to find what's trending, but more so of like sourcing for those differently.
Good point.
Also, there's been some stuff that's like been trending that I knew nothing about. So I'm kind of curious, like outside of clothing, kind of curious to track maybe more of that versus just clothing, so we know to be aware of those. So
Yeah.
okay, I got to keep focused.
I think that was good for you because I focus on a lot of style based stuff, whereas like she picks up, she's like, I don't know, or like, why did you get this? And I explain it, and I think it was good for you to hear.
Yeah.
Some of those things I see.
I'm curious to see how that will change. Like, not my, I don't want to say change my sourcing strategy, because the sourcing strategy I think is gonna stay pretty similar, but I think it will help me find more of the like aesthetic style stuff versus brand style stuff. And I'll be able to expand on that, and then hopefully teach our new hire as well. So, Raina, she said she's hit rock bottom. It's below standard on eBay. I don't know how to get back on track. I would just look at what you have listed. Really make sure that the ones that you have up are good. If you need to end them and redo them or re-edit them, take time to do it. But get your listings right. Keep listing consistently, and then just buckle into it and keep going.
Are you when you say below standard, I assume you're meaning like fell below standard on seller performance, like maybe you had some late shipments or too many item not as described, or the return rates or whatever. If that's what you're talking about, or for anybody listening that might be struggling with the same thing, the only thing that fixes that is time and getting more orders that are correct. And I would just say if rates are high on one of those things, there's something wrong. Like you need to go back and you need to figure out why that's happening and rework your business and put things in place so they do not happen again. Every time we have something happen, which we've had a lot more happen lately because we've been growing so much. So that's one of the things we're about to talk about with our girls this morning is like, as you grow, more opportunities happen for failures. And when failures happen, every time a failure happens, we're like, okay,
what happened? How can we stop it?
Like, how can we not only not do it, but how can we put roadblocks in place to prevent it from happening at all or to even get to that point? And so I would recommend doing that for any of those things that make you fall below standard, because there's definitely an issue if that's happening. And you need to ask yourself the who, what, where, and why. Okay? And then really work on making everything perfect from there forward. And the more orders you get that are quality and that are correct, you'll pull yourself out of that slump. And it will take time, but focus on that. You'll get there.
Little Miss Nut, yes. To reach $1 million, we're gonna need to like invest in an entire coffee company and just like pay them to just keep it going.
We'll hire a barista.
Yeah, we'll just get a espresso machine for the office.
I'll be the barista.
Hey, I've got some Starbucks experience here. I got you. We're gonna be all right.
Okay. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't like Starbucks that much, though.
Yeah, but I can at least make you drinks.
Okay.
I got this. We'll figure it out. Between the two of us, we'll be all right.
This is off topic. I don't normally drink Starbucks, but when we were at the airport, I tried the apple crisp macchiato, and it was actually very delicious. So if you haven't tried it, it's an apple crisp oat milk latte or macchiato. Oh, it's so good. So good. Okay, go ahead.
I've been banned off caffeine for the rest of my life, so decaf for now on. But
if anybody has
still gonna drink
non-caffeinated like coffee or tea drinks that you know of at places or she can make, drop them in the comments. We'd be happy to hear them.
Yes. Patchwork Vintage Co says, I feel like I'm plateauing as to what I can make and I need to change something, but I don't want to hire anyone. Definitely look at your processes, see what you can cut down in your processes to get more listed, because you might save some time. I'm like probably gonna shoot myself in the foot for saying this, but I know Patchwork Vintage Co pretty well, at least through some like emails and stuff. I don't even care if you shoot me a list of like every process you're doing and be like, where do you think I'm making mistakes? The best thing that I could do or like could suggest for you, and it wasn't that like we think we're like top notch, it's just because it's a different set of eyes. Send it to anybody you know. Bring somebody you don't know, a parent, a friend, somebody into your business and say, hey, This is my process. Where to you does it look like I'm losing time? Because there's things that Kaylee did before I started, we don't do anymore. There's things that like we developed as a team that we were going to do. We got a new hire. It didn't work for them. We scratched it and started over. Every new person we bring on has a different way of viewing things and can cut processes out. It doesn't have to be us. It can be a friend you know wherever you are. It could be just a friend of your own. It could be another reseller. Whatever you need to do, reach out to somebody else and say, this is my process. Do you see a place where I can cut time out? And see if that helps. And then hopefully by cutting out some of that stuff that you're doing time-wise, will give you more time to source or more time to get more things up, and will in turn give you more profit. You can also look at like the spreadsheet or like the breakdown we did earlier based on how much you'd like to make, what you're paying, and see if there's any way that you can cut or rearrange that as well. I would be curious to see what that looks like after you've thought through both of those, if you find a way that you can help kind of expand your profit without hiring.
And know your numbers too. I think a lot of people think they know what their numbers are, but if they were to actually dig deep into like your sales report spreadsheet and actually look at what your real selling fees were, or what your real average sale price was, how much things are costing you to list, I think you would actually be surprised, because you might think you're doing it could go both ways. You might think you're doing a lot better than you actually are, and then you'll know like what to tweak and what to adjust and buckle down on, and you might be doing a lot better honestly than you thought. So at least know your numbers. A lot of people think they know their numbers, but they don't review any data every month, and it's very powerful.
Yes. Nurse with a Purse says she's increasing her listings from 28 to 30 a day. Pray for her. Everybody start praying. Money
You
for
got
Nurse
this.
with the Purse. We're going to send you the good vibes.
I love that it's a small increment too. Like,
yes,
you can tell that you're making good decisions with the small increment. Speaking, I'm only saying this because you said Nurse. I know a lot of people were telling me to get on Nurse Flipper's channel. We, in November, are going on one of the lives. So, just letting anybody know watching. I talked with her. We're going to be on a live in November. I think it's late November. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But we'll inform you as things happen.
When we save stuff to drafts, no, we do not actually go through and select those to list. We just schedule them. We pay to schedule them. And we don't just pick them according to value. We literally just set stuff live. The only like out of order stuff we do would be if like we're going into season changes, we might pull all the summer stuff as we're going into fall just to make sure it's listed sooner. The YouTube with that flipper person is Flipper. November 22nd at 8 something p.m. I saved it in my calendar. 8 p.m. 8 to 10 apparently. We're going to be here real late. Thank you, Carmen. I'm sorry, I'm reading.
I started it, so to be honest, and I'm not saying this like in a negative way, because I know some people might take it this way. I promise I'm not saying this in a negative way, but like there's a lot of resellers that I don't know about, even though they have much, much larger channels than mine. It's just because they don't pop up in my feed for whatever reason. eBay doesn't suggest, or YouTube does not suggest them to me. And so I had never heard of Nurse Flipper, like never, I mean, maybe I've heard of her like in circles, but like I did not really know who she was. I didn't know what she sold. I didn't know what her business model was. I didn't know she had a huge following on YouTube. So after you guys said that, I went on and watched some of her content, and she's good stuff. She does a lot of like hard goods things. So Nikki's like, oh God. But I've been watching.
She started watching. I was like, don't you dare get out
I
of
was
there.
like, wow, what? That's awesome. So I'm trying to learn little like niche-y things. Like we're definitely not doing hard goods, but like lately I've been constantly looking at the linens when we go places and just trying to do like small categories at a time that are actually easy to ship and aren't gonna break. So I've been enjoying like listening to her channel and learning about some of the hard goods things that she picks up.
A lot of people talk about processes. I'm gonna challenge you guys before next week's live to make a list of all of your processes, every single one, every single detail.
Get a whiteboard out.
Get a whiteboard, a piece of paper, whatever you need. Write down all of them and try to cut out 3 or 4, and then let me know next week how that works for you as far as like getting stuff completed easier, how you feel about them, and Obviously, you're not going to see a sales increase, but not over a week. But let me know how you kind of feel like that has changed your business mindset. So, homework. I love homework.
Can I give you like, it's the smallest things, guys. Can I give you like an example? So when I used to bring items in, I would go sourcing and I would like dump the bags by the door and
Process is homework.
and then later I would go get tubs and then I would put the tubs there and like dump them into tubs, and that was a 2-part process. I know it only shaves seconds, but like literally something as simple as, okay, I could put the tote by the door and then when I walk in I could just dump it in then, so that I don't have 2 processes and I'm only touching the items once. Stuff like that, guys. Like, write everything out. Like, there is stuff you can cut and you just don't even think about it.
A lot of people talk about cutting processes, so that's where the homework's coming from. So I list 10 a day and I'm going to raise it to 15. Good job, Lisa.
Oh.
Heidi, we only remove backgrounds on the first photo. We do not do all items, just the first one.
Love the homework. I'll be on it.
We do not use sell similar. That's just not something that we typically do. If we did, it would, I mean, if we had something, it might be beneficial. But honestly, by the time that we do it, I prefer to just start from scratch, because if I sell similar, then I feel like I'm constantly reviewing what somebody else has already done and I'm more likely to miss things. I'd rather just take the time, do it, and do it my way from the beginning. But that's just my personal opinion.
Our process with employees does not allow for us to do a sell similar method. It just doesn't. It is faster though if you're somebody doing it yourself.
We're going to speed round because your tablet's dying.
Okay.
It takes me, okay, we're talking about time. Sell similar on eBay is a game changer. It can be, yes. Suggest you get your store turned around doing some cheap auctions to get your rating back up. Might not be a bad idea.
I was going to suggest that, like, if you've got to the person who fell below standard, like, sales, good quality sales are the only thing that's going to fix it. So you might suggest, I almost said it, but I was like, I don't know. Listing things for a little bit cheaper, maybe $5 cheaper than you normally would, like really great items to get sales to happen quicker, if that makes sense. Because if you get more sales quickly, you'll get out of the slump quickly, but you will obviously not get top dollar for an item. But if you want to get out of the slump faster, I would agree that's a good suggestion.
Lucia, I think you're meaning to time. We do not time how long it takes us in the store to calm things or anything like that. Obviously, we try to move through things as fast as what we can. I think that's what you were asking. That being said, one thing that we did to save time is we created a Google Sheets spreadsheet. When we're in the thrift store, we'll literally put like a quick title and then how much we paid for it and then how much we expect to get for it. So it saves us from going back and pricing. That saved us like half a day.
It's so good.
I would recommend maybe doing something like that for yourself, so you just have it all. Maybe we can do a video about that at some point.
It was so annoying in the beginning. We did not want to do it, but now I can't imagine not doing it.
If I don't accept the lower offers, then the item sits. What am I doing wrong? I have a lot of similar items and sometimes the exact same brands, but cannot seem to sell them at the same price frame as other resellers. I always get low offers, and if I counter, they ghost me. Let them ghost you.
I would say I would take a look at the items that you're picking up and what the sell-through rate actually is. It's really hard to change from that mindset of, I think a lot of people like do comps and they're like, well, you know, there's 100 listed, 30 sold. That's pretty decent. If you think about it though, it's probably like in that calculation, it would probably take about 9 months for that item to sell. So keep that in mind too. If you're picking up items that take 9 months to sell, you can't expect them to sell immediately. And so if you list stuff and get frustrated about it, you just need to understand that information so that you don't get frustrated. But it sounds like maybe you have some longer tail items, or maybe even look at your pricing. Maybe you are priced too high. If everyone is giving you a lower offer, the market might be deciding for you, unfortunately. But we always just keep countering.
Yes. If we have any items that need cleaned or stain treated, we just take those home. We don't count those in our numbers. We just kind of leave that as things that we're working on. We have like an outgoing bin. And then as we get enough to wash or take home and stain treat, we take them all home, handle all of that, and then bring them back and re-enter them back into kind of the chain of things that need to go out. But we don't, if it's not going to make you a substantial amount of profit, I just leave it because it's not worth the time and the money to just fight with it. If it's like a really top dollar item and it's worth cleaning, then we will. But thank you for all the progressive information. And maybe it makes me look a little deeper into having a number of goals and being extremely realistic. Yes, realistic goals are key. Yeah, Bobby, that's what I do. I go to the same thing and just get decaf, but it's not actually decaf. It's just low calf, which is different. I've changed a lot of my processes this year, and I'm proud of myself. And what you're saying confirms my feeling that I just need to look at my processes again in order to not hire. You're welcome. Aw. What is the video called?
Hold off on hiring as long as you can.
What is the video called that you show your processes?
Which one?
I don't know.
What processes are you
Picking to retirement? Let us know what process you're looking for, and hopefully we can help you find that video.
We've got a lot of them.
Great information. I've started setting goals and have started to see an uptick in my sales. Awesome. Love the homework. I'll be on it. Yes. They would like a video on the Google Drive spreadsheet. It's very simple, but maybe we can add that to one of our current videos of
No, we have one.
Do we? Of the spreadsheet?
Yeah, it's called like three.
Oh, yes. Five new processes.
Little Miss Nat, if you're still in the chat, can you leak that video? It's the one that has like, it's a collage photo, and it's like,
I think it was like 5 new or
five new processes or 3 new processes.
I think it was
but it includes, it's a recent one, but it includes, if she can't get to it, just look at our most recent videos, but it includes our, that spreadsheet in it, and Nikki explains it.
Yes, it is worth. She's looking, she says. Thank you. Appreciate it. I haven't heard back from Picking to Retirement. So if you're not here anymore, sorry we missed you. If you are and we miss you, feel free to leave it in the actual comments after the video post, and we'll try to help you figure out what the videos are that you need. But that spreadsheet, like, it is such a pain when we're in the store as far as like taking the extra time. But now I just like copy it from the top of eBay and paste it over, because you're going to search it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And then our girls can actually just pull up this spreadsheet while they're doing drafts, copy and paste the title over. That's where we put style names or anything important that we researched. And then it already has this for sale price, so we don't have to. The process for listing and photos, she says. I don't know if we have one for that.
I definitely have one for photos. I mean,
we really need to do a whole...
Yeah, there's definitely content out there that includes those things. I just don't know what videos they're in. Is a lot of the day in the life ones, I think we include that in. Oh no, I think there is a video. It's a view. It's actually one of the most popular videos. It's called like, it has that cycle thing on the thumbnail. It's a view amongst all the clothes in the old office. And it's like our process. I'll see if I can find it and put it in the comments after the video posts. But there is a video out there. Our stuff's changed slightly. We are going to do a video soon. It was actually Nikki's suggestion to do this video. But it's called like the life cycle of an item. And so it's like a start to finish process. What happens with an item from start to finish. And so I think that'll answer
a lot of questions. I realized when we were at Posh the other day and kind of hearing about how people were going through their systems, that I just feel like you guys automatically like know what we're talking about and know what stuff looks like here, and you really don't, unfortunately. I mean, you know kind of what we've told you about it, but as far as like seeing it, so I'd like to find an item. I'd like to video it from the time it like takes the store to getting checked out to, you know, getting in the bins here to then having the girls pulling that and entering in for, you know, drafts. I want to do the whole photo process. I want to video that. I want to video us listing it. I want to video the sale, packaging it for shipping, like every single thing, clear out till it goes to the customer and it shows that it's delivered. Because I think that would kind of help explain the processes system for us a little bit more, and go in detail explanation of like how we actually physically process and list every single item. So that's my agenda for this week. I'm going to find an item that I really like that I think will sell pretty quick so we can get the video up pretty quick. And get that started for you guys. So give me a couple weeks because I'm gonna have to get it, list it, sell it, and then we'll post that for you. So
yes, I don't know what brand they're called, but they are Z-Racks. If you look up clothing Z-Racks, we got ours off of Amazon. They are kind of pricey. My suggestion to you is to look at the weight limit and the dimensions on it, because
these are like $350, I think.
a lot of them that you get are really small and do not hold a lot of weight. So just make sure you actually look at the dimensions. But they're Z-Racks, and we got them off of Amazon.
I'm pretty sure they were Uline, if I remember, because we were going to order them off of Uline, but it was cheaper to get them off of Amazon because we had free shipping. They were more expensive on Amazon, but the shipping was free. I'm pretty sure they were Uline, but these hold like 350 pounds, I believe, or 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Which seems like you would need them. The other thing to keep in mind, y'all can't see this from here. I'm gonna mess you up. Sorry.
Okay.
Is, I don't know if you see the like metal part at the top, but sorry, I shook that.
You're good.
But essentially, when you get racks, sorry, I'm stealing her stuff. Let me hold it this way. When you have the rack, make sure that you get them that have these like drop downs on the top right here, and that they go into the bars, because if you get these that just like sit over top, they'll break and slide off or come out. I've done lots of research on them, so make sure you get them that has like almost like a upside down U. Those apparently hold better. I've done lots of research. So
all right, guys, well, we're gonna get off here because we actually have a call with a sponsor coming up.
Oh, I forgot.
That we need to talk to them. So,
and we gotta go to the post office and have a team meeting. It's gonna be a busy Monday, and we're going to lunch to celebrate 120 items and to go over our new girls' progress. So
yeah,
it's gonna be a busy day. But thank you guys for joining us. We have 63 likes and 154 people watching. So if you guys can give us some thumbs up before we get off, I'd appreciate it. Makes my heart happy. I don't know. That's it. That's what we have for you. So happy Monday.
Yes.
I hope you guys have a very successful week. Anybody who's in here from Florida, if you guys end up seeing this later, we're thinking about you and praying for you. So we will see you guys next Monday. Don't forget to do your homework or else.
All right. Bye, guys.